Hey guys, my name is Nathan Simmons, and I'm with Colonial out of Longview, and we're going to be setting you guys up with some supplemental benefits along with a new health insurance plan. Not sure if you guys know what supplemental benefits are, but basically, we put money back in your pocket. It doesn't go to the doctor, it doesn't go to the hospitals, it goes directly to you, and you use money however you need to. All right, so one thing you need to make sure that you do is you need to make sure that you thank Steve for setting all this up, because you want to make sure that you guys were covered. So anyway, again, we're going to be setting you guys up with a health insurance plan, but alongside of that, we're going to have some supplemental benefit options available. And basically, the simplest way I can explain that is, there's health insurance. We are health insurance. We are going to help fill the holes of what the health insurance is not going to provide. All right, and so now health insurance is a great foundation. Something it's that's part of the reason that I do what I do. Is just last year, the leading cause of bankruptcies in America was due to medical bills. And what's crazy is, of those folks that filed bankruptcy, 78% of them had health insurance. And again, health insurance is a great foundation, but unfortunately, it's not the savior. All right, so now let's say y'all's health insurance or your health insurance is phenomenal right now. Something may happen to you, and you don't owe a dime to the doctor or the hospital. I don't even think that exists anymore, but let's say that it did. All right, but let's say you guys are sitting at the house, y'all are recovering from work or recovering from an injury, and or something happens. You got to work for a month, 2 months. Would you guys agree that that 82% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Absolutely, I'm one of them. That's one of the first things we're going to show you how to do, is how to protect your paycheck with short-term disability. All right, because I don't imagine any of y'all are going to work for free. All right, you're working for a reason, right? If you weren't working, I don't imagine any of y'all are independently wealthy. If you are, you probably wouldn't be working. All right, so something to think about there. One of the things that I always say is, myself, I kind of feel like I've got insurance on everything, from my house to TV, car, cell phone. You name it. I'm not sure. You can even get insurance on your pizza now. But the crazy thing is, we typically do a bad job of protecting the very thing that we get up to work for, and that's what we live off of. The example that I always give is, if you guys had a toaster at your house, that every day you went home from work, that you pressed down the lever on that toaster, that you knew as long as you did that every single day, that toaster would pop up 2, 3, 4, 5 grand every month. Would you protect that toaster in case it broke? Absolutely you would. You have to apologize, my phone's ringing. But anyway, that's going to be the first thing we're going to show you how to do, and we're going to be able to show you how to do that at less than $10 a week. All right. So second thing you're going to be able to look at is survivor benefits through life insurance. Over half the people that we visit with, they tell us they don't have anything. The ones that do tell us they don't feel like they've got enough to sustain their family's lives for 2 or 3 months after something happening, much less being able to put somebody in the ground. Crazy thing is, the main reason why we get told why people don't have anything in place is because they don't know where to get it, which that blows me away, because that feels like it's every other TV commercial. But I think that's part of the problem. Is there's a lot of carriers out there that most people don't know where to start, and so that's kind of where we come in, because what I see a lot of is there might be a CEO at this really, really big company that wants a $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million life insurance policy. And there's people lining up the door to go see that guy, but there's not too many people that seek out the individuals looking for just something to set aside to cover burial expenses, or something to set aside to cover a mortgage. All right, so that's where what we do comes into play. And let me recommend 2 things to you guys. One of the great things about what we do is, if y'all want to do something great, if not, no big deal. But let me recommend 2 things. If you guys care about your family at all, look at protecting your paycheck with short-term disability, especially if the money you're making that you're living off of, and look at a minimum of $15,000 to $20,000 of life insurance to at least set aside for burial expenses, if you don't already have something set aside, because that's going to happen. All right, we're not avoiding that. Now, as far as everything else goes, that's where the holes of health insurance are going to come into play. You'll hear us talk about cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Cancer means a lot to me personally, just because my wife and I had a scare a couple years ago, and I love East Texas to death, but I wasn't going to be going to a local hospital for medical treatment. We had actually looked at going to MD Anderson down in Houston, and not sure if you guys have ever been around it before, but minimum cost of cancer right now is about 25, 30 grand out of pocket. And that's if you have unbelievable health insurance. What most people don't realize, again, unless you've been around it, is on average right now, about 2/3 of cancer costs aren't being covered by health insurance, and 1 in every 2 men are being diagnosed, and 1 in every 3 women are being diagnosed right now, or are said to get it. I'd venture to say everybody watching this right now is, you probably know somebody who's currently going through it right now or who's been through it recently, and so it's a very prevalent problem. But again, going back to my personal situation, when my wife and I, we had our scare a couple years ago, we weren't going to be going to our local hospital. We're going to go to MD Anderson down to Houston and get the best treatment we could find. And you think about travel, meals, hotels, those are all things health insurance is not going to pay for, and you're down there for weeks at a time, getting treatment. So something to think about. My family, or me and my wife, we were real close from going from a 2-income family to a no-income family like that, because you're not going to send your spouse to go get treatment by themselves. All right, and so not only are you down there getting treatment, you also have bills rolling in at the house. Then what are you going to do? All right, so. As far as heart attack and stroke go, guys, that's going to be kind of to each your own. That's going to be more family history related. What I'll tell you guys is, if you have family history of either one of those two things, to make sure that you ask questions about it, because if you have family history of either a heart attack or stroke, the chances of that happening later on in your life go up drastically, and which is kind of how all of our policies work, but especially our critical illness policy, that if you get coverage, say if you're you're younger, you can get coverage for dirt cheap, and it stays that rate for the rest of your life. So that's why I encourage you, if you have family history of it, to ask questions about it, because you can get coverage for dirt cheap, and it stays that rate for the rest of your life. All right. Now, why is something like that even important to begin with? Typically you're not in the hospital for very long when you do have a heart attack or a stroke, but those are very prevalent problems as well. But unfortunately, the biggest problem is when you do get released from the hospital, you're not right back on your feet doing what you're doing. There's typically 2 to 3 couple months of recovery before you're fully able to go back to work and be back on your feet doing what you were doing. Case in point, we actually had a coworker of ours a couple years ago. His father had a heart attack, and he was in the hospital for about a week, and then sure enough got released from the hospital, and he was out of work for about 3.5 months. And thankfully, he had a $15,000 critical illness policy with us, that as soon as he had his heart attack, he was written a check for $15,000 from Colonial, that he was able to use that to make ends meet for his family and keep paying the house payment, car payment, and keep food on the table. Because here's the deal, guys. One thing we want to make sure that you guys understand, whether or not you do or you don't have health insurance, you're going to participate in the health insurance plan. You can negotiate with hospitals. You can pay them $5 a week, and they can't do a single thing to you. But try being out of work and not having an income rolling in. Try negotiating a house payment and seeing how long that lasts you. That's where what we do comes into play. Okay. You'll also be looking at an accident policy. Recommend looking at that, especially in y'all's line of work, or if you're out on the road a lot, or you got kids that are in school playing sports. Be surprised how often you'd use it. We've also got a medical bridge policy that's designed to offset your medical deductible. So in the event that you don't think you could get to your deductible immediately, that's what that policy is designed for. And then lastly, we're going to have some dental and vision options available as well. It's a PPO dental and vision network. You can basically choose any dentist or choose any eye doctor as well. That is something that's going to be completely portable that you can take with you. You can also get coverage for you and your children or your spouse as well. One thing I will mention on that is that it is a dental with a vision plan, and so in order to get the vision, you have to get the dental first. All right, you can get the dental by itself, but you can't get the vision by itself. Okay, so we're going to have some information getting to you guys, because we know y'all are all over at different job sites, and so anyway, there are going to be 2 things you're going to be getting from us. We're going to be handling the office staff starting on August 28th. And then you guys will be getting a phone call or a text message from our benefit counselors that are assisting with his enrollment, and you should be getting contact information or getting notice from your foremans and whatnot about getting that communication. So we will have to talk to everybody to, even if you guys don't want to do anything, that's fine. But we do have to have you decline that you're not going to participate in anything or anything like that. So just know that going in, and anyway. So But there are going to be two things you guys are all going to get regardless of what you do. It's something that we were able to do as a thank you to Hawkins Installation. You guys are all going to get a $10,000 AD&D policy. It's a free AD&D policy that you guys will have as long as you are a employee of Hawkins Installation. It's something that's basically you're getting $10,000 of free life insurance. And then you guys are also all going to get a wellness card. It's basically a card you can use for discounts on prescriptions, dental and vision, pretty much anything medically related. But the cool thing is with the card, you can actually use it for discounts on movie tickets, hotel reservations, Six Flags, SeaWorld, Disney World. You can even use it on Rangers tickets. And you might even be able to use it on Astros tickets too. But anyway, so y'all are all going to get those two things. But if you guys have any questions, we'll have our contact info available. But again, you will be getting contact from somebody from Colonial and beginning that open enrollment process, which will be pretty much taking place throughout the entire month of September. But if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to either myself. Again, my name is Nathan Simmons. And you will also be able to get in touch with Jennifer Sickles as well, or Kaylee Betterton. All right. Anyway, we will be contacting you soon, and make sure that you guys thank Steve. All right. Thank you.